Ladies and gentlemen, fellow students, the day we've been waiting for has arrived. After years of preparation, the time has come for us to step away from the community we love and try our hand in the real world. This is a special day for so many people, not just the graduating seniors. This is a day to celebrate the parents who have so ably raised us into young men and women. They've been with us our whole lives, and they're with us today as we prepare to move on with our lives. This is a day to celebrate the teachers who have gone above and beyond to inspire us. They, like all educators, are noble people, deserving of our thanks, and who we will never forget. This is a day to celebrate everyone in the community who has nurtured this fine group of seniors and prepared to send us into the world. Joseph P. Kennedy once looked at his son Jack and said, "You have all the goods. You can go a long way." This wisdom certainly applies to this graduating class. We have one of the finest educations to be found anywhere, and we have all the tools to make our mark on the world. Now, as we leave the familiar setting of Upper St. Clair, may we fulfill the potential that is undoubtedly ours. Let us set high goals, and let us work tirelessly to achieve them. Let us never forget the lessons we've learned, but let us never forget to keep learning. Let us look injustice in the face and have the courage to do what we know is right. In a world full of challenges, let us never fear to look and face all of the obstacles we face and make a difference. Most of all, let us never forget to dream, because for the class of 2004, the sky is the limit.
Parents, teachers, friends, to all who made this day possible, Alvarez once wrote, "Thank you all for all that you have done. Hard times are now turned into times of pride. All this we managed with you by our side, nor could we otherwise this course have run. Kindness isn't tendered on demand. You gave with love, not merely out of duty. Our days are daily burnished by that beauty. Upon your love, we now proudly stand." As the class of 2004, we would like to welcome all of you here today in our final celebration together as we close this chapter in our lives and embark on a new journey. Although every one of our teachers, family, friends, and all of our loved ones may not be present, their dedication and undying support is not forgotten on this special day. At this time, we would like to recognize one special loved one, Michael Eisenbeis, a member of the class of 2004, who will be forever remembered in our hearts as a classmate and friend. In his memory, we save his proper place in line so he may be here with us today. Lastly, to my peers who define the class of 2004, good luck. May all your future endeavors be successful, and let us move on to show the world that while we can remember the past, there is no turning back. Thank you.
Blair Saran Ashley, valedictorian.
Good afternoon. My original intention today was to speak of the importance of scholarship, of being a fastidious student and knowledge hungry, always striving to make the best grade. However, the retreat into academia seemed most inappropriate on this day, the day upon which it is more evident than ever that school doesn't last forever, nor does the comfort and familiarity of its walls. Instead, I wish to advocate the pursuit of excellence, whether excellence be achieved in learning, in teaching, in practicing, or in perfecting. May the hard work devoted to it ultimately lead to success. But more importantly, may the culmination of the efforts provide happiness, a genuine sense of fulfillment and pride. because it is not monetary or material success that is most important, but happiness. Therein lies success in its purest form. Thank you. Aaron Block.
I returned home from school about 5 weeks ago to find my youngest brother upset. I was worried he might have gotten a swirly or embarrassed himself in front of the class. So I asked my mom, "Why is Stu so upset?" "Oh, someone called him an overachiever today," she replied. Anything but that. And then it dawned on me, this had to be my topic for today. I remember the times when being called an overachiever angered me so much. But with age comes maturity, well, at least for some, and I now accept being called an overachiever as a compliment. Why am I gratified being called such a name? In a world nearing a population of 7 billion, and in a country whose rising generation is not looked upon to surpass the achievements of their parents, by not working hard, I would forever bury myself in the masses, never to advance. Complacency gets us nowhere, and no one rises from doing the absolute minimum. I am not giving this speech right now because I am the smartest in my class, but because I work diligently in my studies. Is this path to triumph strenuous and sometimes frustrating? Yes. Am I proud that I could accomplish such an honor? Most definitely. I think I am realistic enough to know that some people here will tune me out, convinced I am rambling on about things that pertain only to myself. So I eloquently rebut with an explication of my point of view. True athletes become overachievers when they lift weights more and run harder to win. True musicians overachieve when they continue to create and edit their music while practicing continuously to perform perfectly. True students, therefore, study, write, read, and learn in order to become high-level thinkers and skilled professionals. Perhaps being called an overachiever is really equivalent to having a passion and a drive, separating the great from the good. I owe a debt of gratitude to all my family, friends, and teachers who have given me the extra encouragement that we all need in tough times. You all deserve a part of this honor with me. To my fellow classmates, I refuse to wish you the greatest of successes, because the measure of success tends to reflect too much on material wealth. Instead, my wish is for everyone to find true happiness in his or her path, wherever it may lead, whether it may be the acquisition of a mighty power or making one person feel better at a time. Never release your dreams from your grasp. Even if it means you unleash the hidden overachiever in you, work until the bitter end for personal fulfillment. In closing, I leave you all with a few lines from the poem Ulysses to reflect upon. These words that Alfred Lord Tennyson once wrote have always kept me looking towards my dreams while retaining the fruits of my studious unrest. I am a part of all that I have met, yet all experience is an arch where through gleams that untraveled world. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Thank you. The next speaker will be Nick Fell.
Sorry about that. All right, thanks. I spent last weekend on my first complete day off school trying to put together my thoughts for today. What it is like, what it means, what lies ahead. After getting halfway through my first idea, I gave up on it and decided to take a break. During my break, I went to Borders to buy my dad a birthday present, and while I was there, I checked out some new CDs. After buying the gift and 2 new CDs, I came to this revelation. And while it's hardly a stroke of genius or poetic, my epiphany is the basis for this speech. Our current situation is like buying a new CD of a band you really aren't familiar with only having heard one song, or in some cases, no songs at all. Allow me to explain. I listen to a lot of music. Sometimes I burn the CD, but lately I've gotten back into buying. There's just something about the packaging and the feeling you get knowing you're supporting a worthy band that just makes buying the CD worth the drive out to the store and the 15 bucks. Most of the time I buy CDs from bands I know a lot about. I buy their CD because I am familiar with close to all the songs on the album, and I'm willing to suffer a few bombs. But sometimes I buy a new CD solely from a recommendation from my friends or a magazine review. Other times I'll see the band on Conan and buy it because I like their show. These purchases, however, are far more than impulse buys. They are calculated tests. It should be said that I've bought some of the worst CDs I own this way, but I've also bought my favorites. I've discovered favorite bands for myself. I've spent countless hours enjoying music on these CDs. I've let the music grow on me through repeated listenings. I've become inspired. Right now, we are all at the checkout counter, CD in hand, ready to lay down the money and buy something we really don't know a whole lot about. We know about the future through brochures, overnight visits, stories, and the experiences of others, but not our own experiences. For the most part, we're going in blind. This idea makes me a bit nervous, but it really shouldn't. What lies ahead is the same thing that lay ahead 18 years ago when most of us were born. Uncharted waters don't always have to be rough. We've all made it this far in more or less the same manner that we will experience the rest of our lives. We have bought the album and are willing to hear it through. To live is to experience everything one possibly can. And like the tracks on a CD, some things you only try once, but other things along the way you will love and throw it into repeat mode. To my friends, family, teachers, administration, and class of 2004, I thank you for all the great times and support. And I wish you all good luck. Our next speaker is Anthony Michael Ferreira.
About 2 weeks ago, I was honored to be part of the first annual honors banquet at the high school. That night, I had the pleasure of listening to Cynthia Roth, the executive director of Family House, a local nonprofit organization. During her speech, she touched on many different points, but one subject that really piqued my curiosity was her discussion of mentors. To her, a mentor is one who's willing to always tell you the truth, no matter how difficult that might be. In my mind, however, a person who fits her mold is just a good friend. In high school, and I suspect in life, many people are so caught up in their own popularity that no one ever stops to think how many true friends they really have. Think about it. There aren't that many people who are always willing to give you a solid opinion of your actions. But these friends are the best kind, because you can always count on them for sound advice on all your problems. As we leave for college, the need for friends like this becomes even more apparent because, for most of us, we lose the foundation of our sense between right and wrong, our parents. So, with our parents no longer involved in our daily decisions, we will all need to find someone else to become the rock in our lives, or else we will succumb to the various pressures in college and in life. Hopefully, every one of us will find a friend who sincerely cares about us, because this true friend will make attaining success and, more importantly, happiness a little bit easier. Thank you for your time, and good luck to you all. The next speaker is Philip John Gorman.
As you may be well aware, every year in December, Student Council runs a holiday project where we collect money for less fortunate families in Washington County. Through this effort, these families who have so little can truly enjoy a good holiday. To deliver the gifts, we took a school bus around the winding and narrow streets of Washington County, and what we saw was shocking, even a little unimaginable to us in St. Clair. The most striking example of this to me was one family who collected deer carcasses in their yard to feed themselves through the winter. I still have the picture of a hoof sticking out of the garbage can embedded in my mind. As I stand here today and look at the opportunities that lie ahead of us, I realize that we in St. Clair are so blessed. Many of you later will probably sit down to a nice meal, while there are people out there struggling just to eat. I ask that as we leave this bubble of St. Clair, we continue to seek out opportunities to help others. As valuable as our book learning has been, that day I learned that the value in the joy brought to the faces of those less fortunate we help can be just as valuable. Thank you. Jeff Greenberg.
My My fellow classmates, today we celebrate the culmination of our efforts over the past 40 years. Our class has created an extraordinary record of achievement across the full spectrum of life here at Upper St. Clair High School. Many of the successes are obvious. An incredible series of athletic performances on both an individual and team level throughout the past school year, superior accomplishments in academic competition, and renowned artistic performances, to name but a few. All of these well-documented success stories are part of the rich legacy we will leave behind to those who will follow. But to me, a far greater and more lasting impact than our collective achievements is the manner in which we as a class have shared our years together, not only here at the high school, but from the beginning of our time together back at Streams, Baker, or Eisenhower. For all that we've achieved, no success is more profound than the incredible sense of togetherness and pride in one another that we have always displayed, and more importantly, felt. The manifestations of our camaraderie could be found all around us. Some of the examples are self-evident, like the record number of athletes participating on teams and the, shall we say, creativity displayed in our student section during basketball games. But most of our best qualities are exhibited in a more subtle fashion, representing the feeling we have always had for one another. From grade school to Boyce and Fort Couch, and right through all of the events of the past few weeks, our caring and support for one another has been what has truly distinguished our class. As to the future, who knows where our individual destinies will take us? As the great philosopher Yogi Berra once said, it's tough to make predictions, especially about the future. But this we do know. The relationships and experiences we have forged together will forever be a major part of who we are and what we will become. And I thank each of you for your friendship and the memories we will always share. Thank you. Our next speaker is Ashley Harsh.
It's the importance of taking the blinders off my focus on my own ambitions and embracing the opportunity of helping others. I have found that there is only so much joy that studying, college searching, and even partying can bring to one's life when life is lived for oneself. Hours of self-concern turn into days, months, and as the years fly by, the satisfaction one seeks rarely, if ever, is found. In his 2002 commencement address to the students of Chatham College, Fred Rogers addressed this issue by telling the following story. It was an Olympic moment. 9 competitors lined up on the painted white lines waiting for the start of the race. The gun cracked, and the competitors headed toward their destiny. The 100-yard dash is only a flash of a moment in time, but it somehow paused when one of the racers stumbled and fell. The other competitors could hear his cries as his knee felt the crushing pain. One by one, they stopped, turned around, and ran back to the young competitors. One of the Special Olympians, a girl with Down syndrome, said, "This will make it better," and leaned down and tenderly kissed the boy. The boy returned to his feet, linking arms with the rest of the runners, and they ran joyfully to the end of the finish line together. As they crossed the finish line, the entire stadium stood to their feet, echoing a long ovation as everyone involved was reminded that helping others win in this life is more important than winning for oneself. I wish all of the graduates the best as you all enter this new stage in your journey of life, but I also encourage you to focus not only on the goals you may aspire to reach one day, but also on the profound impact you as young individuals can have upon even the most unexpected members of society if you continually run the race with others in mind. Lewis Carroll once said, "To me it seems that to give happiness is a far nobler goal than to attain it, much more a matter of helping others to heaven than of getting there ourselves." Congratulations, graduates. I would now like to introduce my good friend, Tara Kaufeld.
Exactly 2 minutes to inspire and motivate our fellow classmates. 2 minutes may seem like a very short period of time, but often it is just enough time to form an opinion, make a friend, fall in love, or leave a mark on another person's life. This year, I read the book, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom, and I was touched by the purpose of the author. The main character, Eddie, feels that his tedious life as an amusement park mechanic is meaningless. However, after his death, his life is explained to him by 5 people. As album says, these people may be loved ones or distant strangers, yet each of them changed your path forever. Looking back now, our time here at Upper St. Clair High School may seem just as short, tedious, and sometimes meaningless. However, each moment we spent here, though we may have considered some insignificant, had a purpose. As album suggests, the purpose is often beyond our immediate sight. Fred Rogers also said, "If only you could sense how important you are to the lives of those you meet, how important you can be to the people you may never dream of. There is something of yourself that you leave at every meeting with another person." All of us, whether through 4 years of friendship or a 2-minute acquaintance, have left a part of ourselves here and in those around us. To thank all those who have shared of themselves with me would exceed my time limit. However, to my family, friends, and teachers, I thank you. I would hope that from my 2 minutes today, you will remember how important all meetings are in our lives, and always remember those who shared a part of themselves with you here, and thank them. Our next speaker is Rebecca Elise Koval.
I think that every student here can look to your right and left and see faces of friends. Friends whom you have known since childhood. Friends who you know inside and out. You know what makes them cry, what makes them smile, and basically what makes them who they are. A few weeks ago, I went to my sister's graduation from Penn State, the school I'll be attending in the fall. I sat high in the bleachers and observed the graduates interact with one another during the ceremony. There were some scattered handshakes, a hug here or there, but there was no shared compassion among the students like I am seeing here today among my classmates. During the ceremony, I imagined myself sitting there in 4 years, and I realized that I'm scared. I'm scared because I see myself sitting placidly among classmates that I've never even spoken to before, with no hand to hold, and a feeling that I'm entering the next stage of my life completely on my own. As for right now, however, I believe that as we graduate today, we wish upon our neighbors as much success in their post-high school journeys as we would hope for ourselves. I honestly think that our class embodies a stronger sense of camaraderie than any graduating class preceding us, and that every one of us will have at least one friend who is also sitting among us today to support us throughout the rest of our lives. As I close, I would like to remind all of my classmates to relish this experience, as it is the last time you will hold on to your friends' encouragement, the last time the class of 2004 will sit together as a whole. Thank you. The next speaker is Jacob Lloyd Lambach.
Congratulations to all the graduates of the Upper St. Clair class of 2004. Each and every one of us has faced many challenges during our years here. These challenges have given us the determination to do our best and show the world what we can really do. More importantly, our mistakes along the way have shown us how to improve ourselves so that we can become better people. My challenge to you today is simple. Find a cause better than yourself and devote yourself to it. This cause can be your God, your country, the sick or less fortunate, or even your friends and family. All that I ask is that you don't live for yourself alone. Living for yourself is not really living. I'd like to thank all the parents and friends who have made this possible, and congratulations to the class of 2004, and may God bless your future. Our next speaker is Sean Patrick Murphy.
Good afternoon. I'd like to take this opportunity to share with you a piece I find deeply inspiring entitled The Desiderata. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It's a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you consider God to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. I would now like to take a moment and express my gratitude to those people who have supported and loved me. To Matt, Josh, Layla, Neha, and Claire, each of you has made these past 4 years incredible in your own way, and my memories of high school would not be complete without you. To my grandparents, for your unconditional love. To my sister and brother, Danielle and Troy, I am so proud of the people you are becoming, and I hope that you can learn both from my example and my mistakes. To my parents, you are my greatest advocates and source of strength. I cannot express how appreciative I am of everything that you've done for me. Congratulations to the class of 2004. I wish you all the very best. Thank you. Our next speaker is Kelly Celine Porter.
Okay, so I know you guys have heard this at least 1,000,000 times already, but you're gonna have to hear it one more time. Congratulations to the class of 2004. So that much of my speech was pretty easy to write, but the rest of it I had a little trouble with. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to say to hundreds of people on one of the most important days of our lives. I started thinking about this past year, what we thought about, what we talked about, and what we did. When it comes down to it, we've all worried about tests, sports, and who broke up with who and what he said, she said, they said about you. But through my experiences this year, I began to realize just how unimportant these things are. In the grand scheme of things, what really matters in life is not what score we got on that one math test, or how much money we've got in the bank. It's not the house we live in or the car we drive, and it's not even our achievements if we aren't surrounded by people to celebrate them with. Throughout high school, I've come to realize that nothing in life is guaranteed. That is, nothing except the love from your family and from your friends. These are the people that will be there for you when you succeed and even when you fail. And today, as you look back on the years of your past, don't get caught up in the superficial details. Remember the little things, like the time your best friend stayed up until 4 a.m. talking with you on the phone because you couldn't sleep, or the time that your friends threw that huge surprise party for you that was so much fun even though you found out about it beforehand, and the time that one person sensed that you were upset and stayed by your side when they would have rather been somewhere else. Remember today when your family was there right by your side to celebrate your joy. You see, these are the memories worth remembering. Yes, school is important and money matters, but don't lose sight of what really counts in life. Don't forget the people that love you. Every single person here has a great future ahead of them. We will all achieve success in one way or another, but don't lose yourself in these achievements. Surround yourself with love and happiness, and you'll never go wrong. And even if you do, there'll be people there to break your fall. Good luck to the class of 2004, and to all the people who have been there to break my fall or to celebrate my joy.
Thank you. You've made all the difference. Sorry about that. I'd now like to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Anjali Prabhu.
Dr. Lombardo, Dr. Kushner, Upper St. Clair faculty, school board members, family members, and the class of 2004. To paraphrase Rudyard Kipling's poem, if we walk with kings, but not lose the common touch, we will be mature. Even though we may walk with presidents and governors, even though we may become presidents and governors, we must never lose our respect for the common man. In fact, it has been said that there is no such thing as the common man. If we cling to that belief, we will not be mean-spirited or patronizing. To be uncommon, then, we must become individuals who respect and learn from every culture, race, and citizen of the world, from every language, English to Spanish. To be uncommon, then, we must become people who revise our childish ideas, from cliques to all-embracing friendships. Class of 2004, let us be uncommon as we begin a new stage in our lives. If we become elected officials, let us still be honest. If we become physicians, let us be dedicated. If we become educators, let us inspire. A mature person is defined as someone who is able to be preeminent, yet also be humble. It is my hope, class of 2004, that we never lose the common touch and always strive to achieve humble success. On a more personal note, I would like to thank my parents, my brother Arjun, my family, friends, and teachers for all their love and support. Thank you, and congratulations. And our next speaker is Elisa Raquel Suarez.
Ever since my freshman year, I've heard a lot of pep talks, and I've given a lot of pep talks. So now that I have you all here, I'm going to pretend that you are the girls lacrosse team and give you a pep talk too. This is what I tell the team. They must dominate. Domination is about achieving your goals. If you want something, go get it. Secondly, domination is about your attitude. Be confident. If you want to achieve your goal, hustle, work hard, and get it done. And finally, one person can't win a whole game. Domination is about working with Sorry, Katie D'Elia is making me laugh. Domination is about working with teammates to win. It's as simple as that, and that is domination. So, class of 2004, go get 'em. Our next speaker is Miss Erin Turda.
Okay, well, I'm not really very fond of public speaking, so you're in luck. This is going to be really short. I wanted to start off by congratulating everybody. I know that you have heard it, as Kelly said, about 1,000,001 times now, but it really is a great accomplishment, and we should all be very proud of ourselves. I want to specifically thank my parents, my 3 beautiful sisters, my grandparents, and my best friend, Steve. Without them, I wouldn't have had the courage to be up here in front of all of you today. I also want to thank each and every one of you in the class of 2004. Whether we were the best of friends or barely even knew each other's names, you influenced this school, and you made my high school experience what it was, and for that, I am eternally grateful. Lastly, I just want to wish you all the best of luck. You're amazing people, and I know that your lives are going to be filled with nothing but success. Thank you. And it is now my privilege to introduce Andrei Wojciechowski. I tried.
So over the past few weeks, I've kind of wondered what I was going to say once I got up here. I had some ideas, but nothing really stood out in my mind as being the right thing to say. Each day I thought up something different. So I thought I could go for the emotional angle. You know, I could tell you about how some of us been together for 13 years, and meow, we have to go our separate ways. I could remind you of all the times we spent together. We've been through a lot of stuff: football championships, a new school, a great senior prom, and a day at the beginning of our sophomore years that changed the world. But those are memories for you, to cherish for yourself, and the problems you work out on your own. So I also thought I could, tell a joke, come up here and tell jokes. I could have talked about Dr. Fellini's chemistry class, where we lit our hands on fire with methane. So I think the conversation went something like, "Doc, your hand's on fire." And he says, "Oh." So my last option was to make my message kind of inspirational and thoughtful. So in other words, a really sort of stock, normal graduation speech. I could talk about every new beginning being some other beginning's end. All good things must come to an end, but that's not really the end. I could try to instill a life lesson upon all of you, but those lessons really aren't learned best in a crowded stadium. Those lessons you learn by yourself, in your own lives, in your own ways. If I could tell you one thing, though, it'd be something that a teacher once told me: never stop laughing. Laugh at the odds, laugh at the past, and especially laugh at yourself. So at any rate, none of those things was what I exactly wanted to say. So this morning at about 10 o'clock, I found a quote by Gilda Radner, one of Saturday Night Live's original cast members, and one of the funniest women ever. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in the 80s and sadly passed away in 1989. Before she died, however, Gilda Radner said, "I wanted a perfect ending. Now I've learned the hard way that some poems don't rhyme and some stories don't have a clear beginning, middle, and end. Life is about not knowing, having to change, taking the moment and making the best of it without knowing what's going to happen next. Delicious ambiguity." I don't have a perfect speech. I don't have a perfect ending to all that we've been through. But what's so awesome and incredible are your friends, your future, and your life. So that thing just out of reach, that delicious ambiguity, I think that's just about right. I'd like to end with a short excerpt from a story you might have heard of. It's called The Lord of the Rings. "The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road is gone, and I must follow if I can, pursuing it with eager feet, until it joins some larger way, where many paths and errands meet, and whither then I cannot say. So, to the class of 2004, I have 3 things to say. Good luck, have fun, and no Zerg rush, 20 minutes. Our next speaker is Caitlin Liankura.
First of all, I'd just like to thank all of my family members and friends who have given me so much support throughout the years and who have really gotten me to this point. Being the last of so many valedictorians sort of puts me in a difficult position because so many meaningful things have already been said. I think most of us are more than ready to move on with our lives and with this ceremony, and I think those of us who aren't ready for whatever comes next need to dig deep and really find it within ourselves to become ready. We're all moving on, whether we want to or not. Upper St. Clair has definitely prepared us well. We've certainly had a good time, and there's nothing standing in our way that could prevent college from being even better. So good luck in the future, and congratulations, class of 2004.
Dr. Lombardo, Mr. Bluey, Board of School Directors, parents, teachers, friends, and members of the class of 2004. Welcome to the annual Upper St. Clair High School commencement ceremony. The class of 2004, as you've already heard, has been recognized with numerous awards, honors, and distinctions. Among other accomplishments, this class represents 9 National Merit finalists, 24 commended students. This represents 10% of the senior class recognized by National Merit. This is truly a remarkable statistic. 17 valedictorians, 5 Superintendent's Award winners, 1 state band selection, 4 WPIL championships, 2 state championships. We had 3 students with perfect attendance through all 4 years in high school, including a student with perfect attendance through all 13 years of school, K to 12. Truly an accomplishment. We had a team placing first in the National Engineering Design Competition held in Washington, D.C. We also had a team placing 6th in the International Future Problem Solving Competition held in Lexington, Kentucky. With some of the issues we currently face, I think we're going to need the help of this class in solving problems. Our students will be traveling to all corners of the country to pursue their education at schools in Florida, Texas, Idaho, California, and Maine. They will be represented at highly competitive schools such as Cornell, Dartmouth, Stanford, Georgetown, MIT, Notre Dame, Washington University of St. Louis, the United States Air Force Academy, and as I found out about an hour ago, also Princeton. I firmly believe that our future is bright and the fate of this country is in good hands with the students assembled before us today. Dr. Lombardo, as principal of Upper St. Clair High School, I do hereby certify that students gathered before us have met the requirements for graduation as mandated by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Upper St. Clair Board of School Directors. Dr. Lombardo, it is with great pleasure that I present to you the Upper St. Clair High School class of 2004.
President Bluey, Dr. Kushner, members of the school board, members of the Upper St. Clair School District faculty and staff, parents, family members, friends, and of course, the wonderful class of 2004. You know, this is a great day for me. This is the first speech that I've had an opportunity to give to a senior class, and it also marks another great day for me because before today, I went out to Kaufman's and bought this tie, and this marks the day when I actually own more Jerry Garcia ties than I do Grateful Dead albums, so I just wanted you to know that. Anyway, here I am, the 19th speech of the afternoon, and I now know what the tiramisu feels like at the end of a 17-course Italian banquet. And I'm just hoping that I'm not as filling as the tiramisu is. Anyway, this is a wonderful day for me, as I know it is for all of you. Last Thursday night, I had the opportunity to attend the Upper St. Clair School District Senior Prom. What a wonderful event. The young men, all dressed in their tuxedos, looked dashing. Uncomfortable, but dashing. The young women were glorious in their gowns, many of which were worth more than my car. And as the limousines pulled up to the curb and the doors opened and parents and family members lined both sides of the red carpet, readying cameras to capture the moment, as their children, their babies, because you know we still call you that, emerged from their opulent motorized carriages. I could hear their parents' oohs and ahs, mothers turning to friends and holding their husbands' hands and talking of their first proms, and fathers commenting about how much this was going to cost them. Yes, it was a wonderful night for all. I recall thinking as I observed the crowds of ogling family members about how natural it is to reminisce about past events when you participate in new ones. Proms have a way of doing that for us. Graduations also bring back memories for all of us. And for me, like you, today's events cannot help but rekindle memories of my own graduation from high school 37 years ago. 1967. Remember it, Greg, wherever you are? Seems like a long time ago, but today it seems like only yesterday as I see all of you sitting before me in your caps and gowns. As my classmates and I left our graduation ceremony, we were filled with the exhilaration that only the pomp and circumstance of an event like this can elicit. Our heads were filled with our own academic and athletic successes, symbolized by the cardboard diplomas and prizes we clutched in our hands. But they were also filled with the fears of the unknown world we were about to enter. For most of us, college was the next big challenge, and as the days of summer carried us closer to that next challenge, the anxiety of so many unanswered questions, big and small, filled our thoughts. What would college be like? Would I succeed in college as I have here? Would I make friends in this new environment? What would the girls be like? What would my roommate be like? Would I be happy? But in 1967, much like in 2004, world events cast an eerie shadow on the individual dreams we all shared. The Vietnam War filled the front pages of every newspaper and the screens of our home televisions. Pictures of fallen soldiers in some faraway jungle environment were the daily images of our lives, with body counts, 112 Americans, 200 Viet Cong, echoing from the audio of every major news reporter. We planned our evenings so that we could see the news reports from each of the three bureaus, and in the back of our minds continued to ring a single fearful thought: the draft, the chance that we too, like many others, would be picked by some random stroke of fate to fight in that strange foreign land. As some of my friends headed off to that strange land of Vietnam, and as my first year in college thrust me forward into adulthood, other images began to flash across the media as well. Protests, hundreds of thousands of young men and women clashing with police in often violent confrontation, on campuses all over this country: Berkeley, Columbia, Harvard, and Kent State. Kent State, just across this Pennsylvania border, where the image of a young woman kneeling beside the lifeless body of her classmate would become the visual symbol of the protests and desperation of my generation. Other events and images also rushed back to haunt my memories of that year after high school: the assassinations of Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King, the long lines of civil rights marchers chanting for the right to be recognized as human beings and not to be judged by the color of their skin, but by the strength of their character. The world seemed to be falling apart around me, and I, like so many of my peers, struggled to make sense of it all. Well, it's 2004, and so very much has changed, very much for the better. But with some guilt, I look at all of you today and bemoan the reality that so much still has not changed. The world in which you live, the world in which you leave high school, is not a world that I am necessarily proud to leave you as a member of my generation. For you too live in a world where newspapers and televisions cry out with images of soldiers dying in a faraway place. You too live in a world where children, most younger than you, also kill other children who are younger than you, in strange places like Sudan, Somalia, Angola, Rio de Janeiro, Colombia, and even here in Pittsburgh. You live in a world where human beings are still tortured and imprisoned, not just for their acts, but for their beliefs, their religions, and yes, even for their color. You live in a world where airplanes run into buildings, and we are told of ongoing terrorist alerts. You live in a world where industrial pollution threatens the future of our planet, while corporate leaders make themselves wealthier and wealthier. And like for me in 1967, it may feel to you sometimes like the whole world is just falling apart around you. Well, it's not a very pretty picture I've painted for you today. So what's this all have to do with you? After all, you're all mostly 18 years old, heading off to college to learn, start a new career, and have a good time. And of course, we do know you're going to have a good time. But as you are enjoying your first few years out of the Upper St. Clair nest, think about what you can do to influence what the world will be like when your children sit here 20 to 30 years from now. Sure, you can decide to spend 4 years in the Peace Corps or devote 4 years to service in the armed forces, but I know that most of you will not make those choices. Few of you will have the opportunity, as former President Ronald Reagan did, to influence the dissolution of communism or some other tyrannical government structure. But there is so much else that you can do. You can do something. You can serve and make a difference. I know that members of your class can do so much more than simply be successful in a career and make a lot of money. After all, as Dr. Kushner said, we have 17 valedictorians, 37 merit semifinalists, 9 merit scholarship finalists, a class that's rated #1 in mathematics and #2 in reading in the state of Pennsylvania on the last PSSA, a class that's inducted hundreds of members into the National Honor Society for its character, scholarship, leadership, and service to others. Yes, your class has the stuff, the tools, as they say, to make a difference. And you don't have to do something big to make that difference in our world. It's the little stuff that counts, that adds up over time to make such a notable difference in our world. When you travel, for example, to a foreign country, be the very best person that you can be, the type of person that you would want others in the world to think of when they think of an American. Donate $20 a month to an organization that helps a single child in another country where the life expectancy is half of that of ours. Volunteer a few hours of your time to work in a hospice or halfway house. Think, before you buy that next pair of $120 running shoes, about where that product was made and whether or not poor children were exploited in another country in its production. Attend a local community meeting and voice your opinions about why your local leaders should do the right thing. And when you don't think they do, don't give up and simply say, nobody ever listens. Take a moment to talk with and welcome a visitor to this country who looks bewildered or confused by the incredible choice our nation offers. Recycle that pop bottle and urge your parents and family to do the same. Think about how every consumer choice you make has an impact on some person in another country. Have the courage to confront one of your friends who makes a disparaging comment about another person because of their color, gender, or sexual orientation. And each week, spend 1 minute thinking about who has made a difference in your life that week and let them know what they did. Donate a portion of your graduation gift to a charity that you know will make a difference in someone's life in another country. Tell your mom and dad how much you appreciate what they did for you in the last 18 years, and be sure to let them know before you head off to college or the service or a job next year. Question the decisions of your leaders in school, in your community, in your nation, and when you think they are making bad decisions, let them know about it. Make the choice to exercise your leadership skills every chance you get to encourage others to do what is just and kind and right. Yes, members of the class of 2004, there are so many little things that you can do, so many things that together will help to create a kinder, more appreciative, and less violent world. Yes, I'm sorry to say that we've handed you a world that is incredibly violent, confusing, and complex. But we are counting on you to make it better, so that 20 to 30 years from now, when you sit in an audience like this and watch your children receive their diplomas, you will know that you have handed them a better world. Thank you, and congratulations.
As I sat there and heard Dr. Lombardo said that he was the 19th speaker, I thought, thanks, I'm number 20. But I'm the end, so. I just want to touch on 2 words, and those 2 words are vision and values. They're two simple words, and they sound cliche, and they might even sound like some kind of platitude in today's society. But they're two words, vision and values, that have profound and significant effect on your lives. They're concepts that can be life-changing if you apply them in a proper manner. What's meant by vision? The dictionary defines vision as the ongoing and creative discernment or foresight. I define it really as a dynamic roadmap for each of our missions in life. It's your progressive benchmark that determines how you will measure success in the future. Vision will equip you to effectively handle the achievements, the failures, the mountaintop experiences, and the valleys that each of us in this stadium experience in our lives. There's an ancient Old Testament scripture that admonishes us with a warning. Without a progressive vision, people will dwell in the land aimlessly and without purpose. We don't want to go there. A consistent reflection and renewal of vision will rejuvenate the purpose for your life, and it will maintain your focus on the proper and most important priorities in life: family, a belief in a higher power, those things that will prevent you from straying off course. To illustrate this point, I'd like to interject the words of John Rockefeller. At his days, several decades ago, he was really the pinnacle of success, and Bill Gates. He was the Bill Gates of a generation ago. Towards the end of his life, Mr. Rockefeller was known to say on several occasions, "No man on his deathbed ever said, 'Boy, I wished I would have spent more time at the office.'" The graduates in this stadium today are about to step out beyond high school into new horizons, whether it's college, and for the most part it will be college, but there are those that enter into the workforce and even into the military. Beyond that, you'll eventually, hopefully, begin new families, become professionals, government leaders, and you too will mold the lives and minds of future generations. I want to take this opportunity to implore each of you, establish and enhance a solid foundation of morals, ethics, and values. They are critical in life. They're critical because they define who you actually are. They give you principles to live by. They give you merits that define who you are and really comprise the overall character that you are. Dr. Lombardo in his talk emphasized the value of service to others. Other significant values, and I'm sure you're familiar with these, are respect for others, leadership by example, patience, kindness. It's up to each of you, each of us, to fill in the blanks. But one value that should be on everyone's list is integrity. Sadly, this critical value is often forgotten and easily ignored as we go about our daily business in life, and especially in our relationships with other people. The recent onslaughts of scandals in corporate America, various governmental entities, and our military clearly demonstrates the decline of moral rectitude and integrity in society as a whole. You can change that. Integrity is best defined as being true to oneself or character, that you cannot and you will not contradict yourself, and that you will remain consistent to your belief system and to the ideals that you have, no matter what it costs. In practical terms, it means honoring your word. It means taking responsibility for your actions, being honest and authentic with others, respecting confidentialities. In short, it means you have substance. Or as the old adage states, what you see is what you get. In my attempt, and I hope this isn't hokey, I'm going to bring out a box of Kellogg's Corn Flakes. And this 8-inch by 11-inch box, to me, is a good example of integrity. Now, what do I mean by this? Printed on this box is a bunch of stuff. You know, there's a bid and win to Disney World advertisement. There's a bunch of stuff on this thing. But down here in the corner, it says net weight, 12 ounces. When you take this off the grocery shelf, I'll tell you what, it's only about 3/4 full. If you shake it, and the more rigorously you shake it, that stuff gets condensed to probably about half the box. If I took these out and crushed them, and kept crushing them with force on the outside, put them back in the box, you could end up with about 1/4 or 1/3 of a box. And yet the weight remains 12 ounces. How does this analogy apply to us? All of us in this stadium have been and will be shaken by circumstances or experiences in our lives. Pressures will come on us through increased responsibilities as well as through our relationships with other people. And I can tell you, any puffed up pride, any falsehood, any empty airspace, it's going to be done away with. And the real substance of your being is going to remain. Moral of the story, fill the box that you call your life with reality, with truth, with honesty, with sincere conviction, in order that you can stand up and withstand the test of time. Personal integrity also causes people to view us as being trustworthy. That's a tough thing to be these days, trustworthy. It's not popular. Can we be dependable into the future? Can we be people that will stand up under the pressures of life? The chairs that we're sitting in, those bleachers, they have integrity. How? We trust them. We're sitting in them. They're holding up our weight corporately as well as individually. I know my 250-pound body was back there seated, and I trust that it'll go back there and I'm not going to collapse in my chair, hopefully. I want to also express one other attribute, one other virtue, and that's endurance. You've sat through an extensive parade of speakers this afternoon. Well, the real parade is about to begin, the parade to get your diplomas and exit. Stage right, your left. I knew I'd get a cheer on that one. On behalf of the Board of School Directors for Upper St. Clair, we really wish you our best. It's our sincere congratulations, and it's a privilege to honor you with the diploma set before us. Thank you.
Okay, Joel. Jolie Kristen Poljak, Senior Class President.
Philip John Gorman, valedictorian, Senior Class Vice President.
Kathleen Amy DeLeo, Senior Class Secretary, Superintendent's Academic Achievement Award recipient.
Emily Ann Bird, Senior Class Treasurer.
Samuel Adam Hornack, Student Council President.
Blair Saran Ashley, valedictorian.
Aaron Robert Block, valedictorian.
Nicholas John Fell, valedictorian, International Baccalaureate Diploma candidate.
Anthony Michael Ferreira, valedictorian.
Ashley Michelle Harsh, valedictorian.
Jeffrey Samuel Greenberg, valedictorian.
Rebecca Elise Koval, valedictorian.
Tara Jane Caulfield, valedictorian.
Sean Patrick Murphy, valedictorian.
Jacob Lloyd Lambach, valedictorian.
Anjali Prabhu, valedictorian.
Kelly Celine Porter, valedictorian.
Erin Elizabeth Twerdock, valedictorian.
Alisa Raquel Suarez, valedictorian.
Catherine Elizabeth Yankura, valedictorian.
Andre Pavo Wojcinski.
Charles J. Vasco Jr., International Baccalaureate Diploma candidate.
Catherine Hannah Cusco, International Baccalaureate Diploma candidate.
Akshaya Kumar, International Baccalaureate Diploma candidate.
Lauren Caitlin Kyle.
Whitney Helen Abbott.
Caitlin Marie Laboon, Student Council Executive Officer.
Caitlin Abrams.
Fernando A. Lacayo III.
Diana Elizabeth Abriola.
Scott Lacotti.
Gregory A. Asnapura.
Alex Tillman Langley.
Colleen Elizabeth Allegretti.
Melissa Ann Lance.
Peter David Altschuler.
Elise Renee Latanzi.
Nicholas M. Emilio.
Lisa J. Lawler.
Brian Anthony Anderson.
Laura Lee Renee Lewis.
Ian Richard Arthurs.
Stephen Listak.
You're losing your cord. Allison Delynn Offenberg.
Ashley Nicole Luttrell.
Jennifer Aaron Offenberg.
Ashley Avan Lloyd.
Kevin Robert Austin.
David Shun Lowe.
Muhammad Fatullah Iwoja.
Lindsay Elizabeth Lynch.
Laura Elizabeth Balzerini.
Jen Lutz.
Chelsea Sebastian Barretts.
Nikhil Malley.
Eric Richard Barbarita.
Gregory Michael Marks.
Emily Angeline Barkas.
Marie Lynn Marcelino.
Janae Michelle Barnes.
Alexandra Danielle Martin.
Lee Rhodes Barron.
Kevin Alsop Matthews.
Molly Beth Beaver.
Laura Christine McCabe.
Erin Elizabeth Becker.
Jessica Christine McClure.
Adrian Nell Belasco, Student Council Executive Officer.
Joseph Patrick McCune.
Laura Emily Benak.
Matthew Patrick McGinnis.
Kareem Ben Bernan.
John Joseph McGraw Jr.
Catherine Teresa Bittner.
Sean Thomas McHugh.
Peter Michael Blake.
Michael Tanner McKibben.
Lauren J. Block.
Jennifer Ann McLean.
Caitlin Nell Bluey.
Sean Alexander McMillan, Student Council Vice President.
Lauren Jennifer Bonine.
Megan Lee McShane.
Melissa Marie Borgfeld.
Naya Shailash Mehta.
Kelly Christine Bora.
Matthew P. Minert.
Daniel Owens Bocek.
Russell Ian Merwick.
J. David Briggs.
Joseph Anthony Maley.
Jacqueline Noel Brown.
Derek James Miller.
Jesse Brown.
Jessica Lindsay Miller.
Matthew John Bukta.
Meredith Susan Miller.
Long year. Emily Catherine Buman.
Jonathan Middleman.
James Bunn III.
Ross Stephen Malinak.
Shannon Lynn Berkey, Superintendent's Academic Achievement Award recipient.
Ross Douglas Momeyer.
James Joseph Cafaro.
Caitlin Meredith Moore.
John Michael Kane.
Matthew S. Moran.
Castori. Anna Marie Castori.
Megan Aaron Morrow.
Alexandra Castro, Superintendent's Academic Achievement Award recipient.
Layla Marcel Brzozowski.
Dustin Christopher Charles.
Elizabeth Ann Mulholland.
Ashley Rose Cheatham.
Patrick Joseph Mullen.
Betsy Louise Christensen.
Jamie Lee Murray.
Keith Frederick Christman.
Leslie Catherine Myers.
Ashley Nicole Sharilla.
Dean Trevor Nacy.
Anthony Lee Shute.
Robert Stephen Nance.
Robert Remington Cochran.
Robert Augustine Nielsen.
David Jeffrey Cohen.
Stephen James Norton.
Eden Rachel Cohen.
David Gerard O'Connor.
Nicholas Colangelo.
Benjamin Ogrodnik.
Stephen Vincent Kaleli.
Dennis P. Omar.
Aaron Emmanuel Kolodny.
Christina Lynn Olivia.
Amanda Reed Crocker.
Lauren Marie Olson.
Melissa Catherine DeRora.
Tyler Joseph Orchowski.
Nicholas Walter DeBartolo.
Sean Michael Overby.
Emily Helen DeFrancesca.
Andrew James Palladino.
Caroline May Degnan.
Brian E. Parrish Jr.
Derek Anthony Del Rey.
John Pascarelli.
Daniel Jose Dennehy.
Benjamin Ross Paddock.
Benjamin DeSantis.
Courtney Rose Pollock.
Josh Francis Desmond.
Melissa Marie Payne.
Meredith Rebecca Dodd.
Catherine Elizabeth Peterson.
Ashley Taylor Doherty.
Joshua Patrick Petrusic.
Allison Lynn Dologowski.
Justin Michael Pinsker.
Aaron Alexis Doherty.
Katie Lynn Christina Poplowski.
Caitlin Marie Driscoll.
Rachel Lee Prawl.
Corey Mannion Duff.
Attar Karan Rathore.
Taryn Colleen Duff.
Claire Elizabeth Rechtenwald.
Joseph Richard Duffy.
Kevin Robert Reedy.
Brett Benjamin Eby.
Garrett Paul Richardson.
Andrew William Eglai.
Greg Edward Richards.
Amanda Lee Eltogi.
Ryan Andrew Richards.
Emily Lynn Engel.
Jeffrey Thomas Rickle.
Nicole Marie Evans.
Michael James Riley.
Nadia Yevstunina.
Stephen Taylor Ritchie.
Leah Marie Facenda.
Michael Charles Rorty.
Devin Michael Fackenthal.
J. Havard Roberts.
Alyssa Elizabeth Ferguson.
Catherine Elizabeth Robeson.
Kimberly Ann Fisher.
Alexander Thomas Rocco.
Ryan Patrick Flanagan.
Ari Joaquin Roachman Yaski.
Laura Marie Forrester.
Stephen Michael Rawlick.
John Thomas Foster.
Adam Mitchell Fox Rosen.
John Harrison Franuti.
Kimberly Ann Roth.
Stephen Franklin Fuchs.
Andrew Glenn Rothy.
Patrick John Furlong.
Anthony Mark Rubino.
Kara Ann Gallo.
Raisa K. Rodniskus.
Katie Elizabeth Gannon.
Alexander E.B. Rutsky.
Aaron Lauren Gall.
Joseph Wellington Ryan.
Devin Michael Geisler.
Matthew Stephen Solero.
Jennifer Sue George.
Lauren Alexandra Sapienza.
David Adler Goldberger.
Joshua John Sawicki.
Sanjeev Kolakota.
Justin J. Schmidt.
Rebecca Gralka.
Robert Scott Schreiner.
Daniel Walker Grealish, Superintendent's Academic Achievement Award recipient.
Kyle Rogers Schwaba.
Catherine Anastasia Gutauskas.
Megan Elizabeth Skirman.
Lindsay Jean Haas.
Christine Nicole Sebastian.
Joseph C. Halakna.
Robert Sean Sedney.
Stephen Lee Hall.
Leah Ann Senaway.
Michelle Elizabeth Hanley.
Zane Samuel Shapiro.
Nicole Elizabeth Harsh.
Matthew Francis Shea.
Courtney Elizabeth Harder.
Kristen Marie Shearer.
Sabrina Elizabeth Hartman.
Patrick Barker Shepard.
Zachary Regis Hawk.
Matthew Taylor Shine.
Brittany Ann Hayes.
Catherine Cullinan Simons.
Jennifer Lee Hayes.
Claire Weldon Smith.
Jennifer Susan Hecker.
Zachary Garrett Smith.
Brendan Sweeney Heckler.
Ryan Nathaniel Smosna.
Ryan Scott Hyder.
Jamie Lynn Snyder.
Gregory David Heilman.
Michael Henry Szanski.
Laura Lee Herman.
Erica Letitia Spence Polera.
Matthew Bo Hess.
Aaron Martin Spolter.
May Christine Hignett.
Frederick Robert Stambaugh.
Sarah Elizabeth Hill.
Hannah Elizabeth Starr.
Kevin James Hinnebush.
Gregory Michael Stahora.
Sarah Ann Hips, Student Council Executive Officer.
Jason Elliott Stern.
Suzanne Kelly Hirth.
Philip Michael Stucker.
Kevin Richard Hoke.
Andrew Zachary Stutzman.
Cora Rose Hofstetter.
Jonathan Adam Stuber.
Matthew John Hogya.
Sean Michael Switek.
Gwen Marie Howell.
Alexandra Marie Tambellini.
Megan Lee Howie.
Holly Ann Tambellini.
Tia Holmes. Go ahead.
Emily Taramina.
Matthew William Holzenbeck.
Alyssa Marie Taylor.
Justin Andrew Huskisson.
Laura Marie Taylor.
Scott Andrew Highland.
Alicia Ruth Temple.
Tanner Ilkin.
Holland Lowe Thomas.
Gregory Lamb Ilson.
Laura Kimberly Thompson.
Drew Jared Irwin.
Alessandra E. Thorell.
Daniel David Janiak Jr.
Claire Elizabeth Timlin.
Elizabeth M. Jaworski.
Catherine Elizabeth Traychuk.
Nathan Joshua Jewell.
Catherine Mary Trotter.
Maureen Lee Johnson.
Brian Lewis Eubinger.
Caitlin Regina Johnette.
John Eric Vanderveen.
Wendy Lynn Jordan.
Christopher John Vaccaro.
Peter Kachko.
Megan Elizabeth Wagner.
Joshua Daniel Kale.
Timothy Michael Wagner, Student Council Executive Officer.
Deanna Marie Caligeris.
Kimberly Agnes Waller.
Whitney Ann Kaltenegger.
Leah Nicole Watts.
Alexander Maxwell Candebarro.
Stephanie Marie Welsh.
John Michael Cardos.
Andrew Kyle Wellens.
Gregory John Michael Kasnick.
Darren Dennis Westwood.
Tracy Jenna Kadoff.
Shannon Lee Whalen.
Arjun Call.
Adam Matthew White.
Jennifer Aaron Keene.
Mary Elizabeth White.
Lorelei Margaret Kelly.
Joshua Joseph Whiteside.
John Joseph Kernan.
Lindsay Marie Williamson.
Noah Emerson Ketterman.
Bethany Jane Willard.
Dylan Rob Kipp.
Rodney William Wilson.
Jessica Lee Klein.
Daniel Stewart Winters.
Melanie Beth Kleinman.
J. Andrew Yannick.
Jennifer Marie Klein.
Eric C. Young.
Charles Gerhardt Knudsen IV.
Michael Vincent Zangrilli.
Elizabeth Ann Craw.
Michael Evan Zanuck.
Jenna Rose Crawl.
Jonathan A. Zalesniak.
Sarah Elizabeth Kramer.
Elizabeth Lynn Zezetek.
Jennifer Laura Kugler.
Megan Elaine Zotis. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the graduated class of 2004. Thank you.